Hey guys, it's Sam. Welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be doing another one palette multiple looks video. I've been really enjoying filming these. It's been a really great chance for me to kind of go through some of the makeup in my collection and really stretch it to its limits, see exactly how much I can get out of it. And I think that when it comes time for me to do like another declutter in the future, it'll be a long ways in the future, but when it comes time, I'll be able to look at some of the palettes and be like, you know what, I remember how versatile that was, I'm gonna keep that one, or you know what, I really struggled to get a lot of use out of this one, so I'm not. So today I thought I would just pick one at random. I didn't include this one in the poll that I originally posted way back when I said I was going to start doing this, but I thought that we would play with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette today. So I feel like a lot of people have this. That's one of the reasons I did it. It is also still available. I don't know if it was ever meant to be limited edition, but it certainly is permanent now. And I just feel like every time I use this palette, I'm getting the same look using the same colors over and over and over again. And because it's a little bit more neutral, there's not as much, crazy colors as there was with the Jeffree Star palette, or there's not quite such a range of colors as the Born to Run. I thought it would be really interesting to see what kind of looks we could get out of this. So same thing applies as always. For this particular video, I will be doing a lot of kind of using other people's looks, doing a paint by numbers kind of thing, seeing if I can do it on myself. And as with the last couple, anytime that I do use a look that somebody else posted, I will link it down below just so you guys know that like I'm not the one that came up with this. I don't want to take credit for something that wasn't my original idea. I'm gonna try and just stick with the 5 looks thing. I just think that that's been working really well. It gives you a really nice variety of looks. There's a lot less shadows in here. There's only 14, whereas with the other ones we've had like 20 some odd to deal with. So it'll be really interesting to stretch this for 5 different looks. I'm going to make sure I use every color at least once. And as per usual, I am using MAC Painterly Paint Pot for my eye primer. And today I have 2 eyeliners. Now the reason being that I don't know if I'm going to want to use a brown liner today at all. I might sub it in for the black every once in a while if I feel so inclined. So I have I think this is just called KVD Beauty now, but I still have Kat Von D, the tattoo liner, in brown. And then I decided to use my Fenty Fly Liner, and that's just because my other like liners like this are waterproof, and I think that that's what made it really difficult for me to get it off in the last video, was that I did use my Too Faced Better Than Sex waterproof liner, and it made it really difficult to get off. So I'm gonna go ahead with look number 1. All right, you guys, so we are back. This is going to be look number 1. I'm not 100% sure how I really feel about it. I think I need to see it on the other eye to really make a decision. It kind of got a little muddled on me also. One of those colors does have a ton of fallout. I noticed. I will let you know when we get there. And because I'm so bad at winging eyeliner, I just don't ever do it. It looks like really bad from close up and from far away, but we're just gonna go with it anyway. So the first thing is this look does require a taped line. Again, like I said, I did notice there is a lot of fallout in this palette. I'm dropping brushes left, right, and center here, so I'm wondering if you guys can see all the kickback that I've gotten out of some of these colors. It is what it is. So first things first, we're going to dip into this burnt orange color here. I've just got a nice big like blender brush. It's got like a fatter end to it. It's not super precise. And I'm just taking that and right above my crease, like not even into my crease, I'm kind of going and following that line, and that's how I got that nice high orange in the other eye. Also, I did find, like I said, I am copying a look here that somebody did online. It looks completely different on that person than it does on me. And again, that's going to happen with just eye shape. I could see somebody that had, like, for whatever reason, when she blended them together, she had much more space to do it. And I always thought that I actually had quite a lot of eyelid to work with, but evidently I was kind of wrong. So next color I'm going to get into, I've got a bit of a smaller crease brush. We're going to go into Real Gar. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. It's like that deeper orange shade. So I'm picking that up. These are very pigmented, so it definitely does help to like give your brush a little tap off before you go into your eye, because like I said, I did get a ton of fallout over here, and I think it could have been avoided. So with this color, I am actually going into the crease now. I'm still going a little high in the crease, letting more of the bottom of the brush hit the crease, but just blending those two colors together and making sure that I get it right up against that tape line as well. Sorry, should I bring you guys in a little closer maybe? Nope, my chair's already dropped as much as it's gonna go. I'm gonna bring this up a bit so I can be kind of in the frame. I always forget sometimes that you guys actually might want to be seeing what I'm doing. So, like I said, just kind of more in the crease, but definitely high in the crease. I've got kind of like a fluffier style pencil brush. We're gonna go into the color Venetian Red right here by my thumb. I'm gonna pick some of that up. Again, a little tap off, and you should see a ton of powder come off because these have a lot of kickback. And with that, I'm just going to sort of trace from my inner corner. I'm trying not to get too much on the lid here. And also from my outer corner and like up into that crease, more deep into the crease. So you're gonna see this color less than some of those oranges, but should still be quite visible. Just sort of like that. Also helps to have a nice clean brush on hand just to kind of blend those colors together. These are very pigmented shadows. I went a little high on this one for sure, kind of in a weird shape, but that's okay because like I said, this video isn't so much for me to get the most precise looks down. It's just for me to play and see, you know, what kind of stuff I can do, and also just to push myself out of my comfort zone because this is growing on me quite a bit, I must say. And there's some other looks that I've done with like the other two palettes that I never would have tried on my own time. So Cypress Umber is the next color we're going to go into. Now this is the one I noticed a bunch of fallout with, so I've got a bit of a sharper pencil brush. And again, I'm just taking that through the crease from the outside, and I'm not going quite as far in as I did with the pink because I still want some of that pink to show through. But this was the color that I did find a lot of kick up with. And you've noticed that I've tried to leave like the center part of my lid open for the most part because now we're going to go into Vermeer. It's one of the two shimmer shades in the palette. It's absolutely gorgeous, and we're just going to pack that all over the center of the lid up to the crease. So really, really just pack it in there. And you could do this with a brush, but I'm a much bigger fan of doing these kind of things with my finger. I just think you have a lot more control with it and you get a lot more product. So once again, I am actually going to just take one of the brushes that I used earlier because I got it a little high, and I'm just going to fleck it away a bit. So at this point, I took my tape away. Look at that nice sharp line. I've already ripped up part of my concealer as well. Now this was the interesting part that I was not sure of, is it looked like in the picture that I was going off of, she took some sort of a concealer and kind of did it along her lash line and up here a little bit almost to smooth it out. So I did do that with this eye, so I'm gonna do it with this eye, but I don't know that it's completely necessary. I'm just using my NARS Creamy Radiant Concealer or whatever this is called, and it's just because it's got a little tiny doe foot, so it's very easy for me to get a nice, whoopsies, tight line. Now, that is something I noticed, is that when you get concealer on your lashes, mascara does not love to cover it. So just kind of up like that. And then I took, I call these a concealer brush. I don't know what you guys call them, just a small concealer brush. This one's particularly old. I've had it for a very long time. And I just sort of like patted it in here. If you screwed up top, you could do it there. And then I just sort of like smudged that line out. I don't really know why she did this. I think it might have been to make that black liner stand out, but I don't know that it was necessary. But like I said, I did do it on this eye, so I'm gonna kind of continue on that eye. And the first thing you're gonna have to do is you realize we've covered a lot of that shimmer, so go in with some more of that shimmery Vermeer shade and pack some more of that on all over the lid because we don't want to lose that shimmer. Then I took a pencil brush. This one has a bigger point on it, and just while we let some of that concealer tack down, you're gonna mix together Venetian Red and Cypress Umber. Now this is going to create a lot of fallout because they're both very powdery shades, so definitely shake that brush off. And we're going to use that to smoke the lower lash line out. And then depending at this point on whether you dip into the red first or the brown first is kind of what kind of a tint you're really going to get, but really you want to see a little bit of each of those colors. And I just smoked that up to meet up top, just like that. Like I said, it looks kind of funny. I got a little high here. We're going to go back into that Vermeer color, pick up a little bit. That's going to go on our inner corner. And I also ended up deciding just to put a touch of it underneath. That's a little too much. That's okay. Underneath my brow bone, just for a little pop of like a highlight or something. Now that is way too much, but like, oh, it's too much on both sides. Okay, never mind. We're just going to just go with it. So then we took the black eyeliner. I'm going to just do it with this one so you guys can see how bad I am at winging liner, but for the most part, I won't be showing you my lining skills or lack thereof. So like I said, I wonder if the concealer was to make the black eyeliner more black, but I don't really know. You know what's really good is when your wings don't match each other. Okay, how do people wing line? I'm so bad at it. I've tried so many times. I don't particularly like it with my eye shape, to be honest. It's okay every once in a while, but like I have a girlfriend who I've gone and got my makeup done with a few times, and her boyfriend loves wing liner and he thinks it looks, and it looks amazing. She's got big round eyes, so it looks really pretty. It kind of gives them a more cat-like look, but because I think it's because my eyes aren't really big and round that it looks a little silly. But whatever. So that is look number 1 right there. So far we've used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors in the palette. So 5 out of 14, that's pretty good. We're already over a third of the way there. And this is the completed look we ended up with. Again, it's not my favorite, but I don't hate it. And I would probably redo this again without winging the liner. So that was look number 1. Keep on watching and I'll come back with look number 2. All right, you guys, here I am back with look number 2. Now this one is a lot more simple, a lot more everyday, easy, you know, you could probably do this look with almost any palette. It honestly, sorry, I left the light on over here. I'm just gonna turn that off. It honestly didn't turn out really the way I expected it to. I thought it would be a lot more shimmery. Also, you can already see where I've had to reconceal, and it is, you know, that's one thing is that like when I've been doing these videos, because I'm constantly like putting concealer and new lid primer and stuff like that, my base makeup is just getting horrible. So I actually took a little longer in between when I wiped off the makeup, let my face actually dry down, because I've just been using like a makeup wipe to take off the makeup and then kind of put concealer back on, put the lid primer back on, and gave it a minute. So like I said, this look is very standard, very neutral, but still really pretty. So the first color I am going to take is all my brushes. I'm just having a day where like no matter what I do, none of my brushes will like stay on the desk. They just keep falling on the floor. It's driving me nuts. So we're gonna take Raw Sienna first, and I've got it on a, this is what I'm talking about this like fallout. Do you guys see how much like kick up there is there? And in the pan, I know a lot of Anastasia Beverly Hills. That was weird. That took a while for it to focus. Anyway, I know a lot of their palettes do have a lot of fallout and a lot of kick up, and a lot of people complain about their shimmers and that as soon as you like either stick your finger in or dip a brush in, like they pretty much disintegrate because they're so soft. So I don't know that this is like an abnormal thing for this palette, or if it's just they have a very soft formula. Anyway, so I took that color on a bigger fluffy brush, and I'm just going to work that kind of all the way from the outer to the inner corner quite high. We want that really to stand out because we are going to be laying another color into the crease, and I don't want to lose this lighter tone in the process. So just like that. Then I went in with a bit finer of a blender brush, and we went back into that Cypress Umber. So that's that dark brown. That color seems to be used a lot in a ton of looks I looked into. And this color we are just going to take right in the crease for the most part, like especially in the inner corner. Like I want it all the way across, but I don't want it darkening up my inner corner too much, but we will take it down onto the lid a little bit and just blend that up into the crease. Before I forget, I also took a fluffy brush and took that raw sienna color, that was that first color, and swept it all underneath my lid as well. And now this is a bit wider of a base of a brush. Like I could be doing this with a pencil brush, but again, we are also going to be sweeping, there goes the brush, one day. And this will be like a while away because we're in this house for a while and there's really no space for it. One day I would like to have a really good room for all of my makeup where I've got like a full vanity like most people set up in front of me, and kind of like how I used to do it when I lived at my parents' house, where I kind of put the camera on the desk and used that. So I had a lot of space for things, because at this point, like I'm literally just sitting in a chair in the middle of the room in front of the camera. So like everything's in my lap. It's just difficult, but one day. So anyway, I'm going back into that Cypress Umber color and I'm taking that under as well, but much, much closer to the lash line. Just like that. Again, just kind of connecting them in the corner. And that color you don't need to take all the way in. And depending on how dark you want your under eye to be, you could do more or less of that Cypress Umber color. So next I took a big fluffy brush and I went into Tempera. I don't know if it's supposed to be like tempera, but it's this color here, this like light creamy kind of color. So I picked up a bunch of that color and I just sort of, you know, took it up and above, kind of blending up and then right up under my brow bone, just to soften all those lines up top, make them blend really, really nicely into the rest of my eye. And then at this point, I did try and go in with a flat brush into the color Antique Velvet, which is right here. It's kind of a shimmer, not quite so shimmery as some of the other colors, but there's a little shine in it. And I just took that and put it all over the lid. Like that. Like I said, I did do it with a brush, but I think your finger is easier most of the time. And then back into that Vermeer color, that really shimmery color, I picked up a little bit on my pinky and added that into my inner corner just for a touch of a highlight. And I also ended up picking up a bit of that and then going back into that Antique Bronze and patting that on the lid as well, just because I wanted it to be a little bit brighter in the center. Just like that. Give it a little bit more depth, a little bit more something. So at this point, I am going to go in with eyeliner and mascara and then I will come back. All right, so that is it for look number 2. Also, I don't know if I mentioned it to you guys, but I am using my Benefit Roller Lash Mascara for my mascara for this video, and that's mainly because it is a little finer of a bristle, so it's not going to cake as much mascara on, because again, I am constantly putting on and taking off mascara, and I just found that in the last video I really caked up my lashes and it was very difficult to get it off. This is also not a waterproof mascara, so it makes it a little bit easier. So like I said, this is look number 2. Sorry, the rest of my makeup looks really bad. It's just from touch-ups and stuff. If I had my bronzer brush anywhere near me, I would buff that out. But yeah, so this is a very simple look. Very kind of standard, I would say. One of the easier looks that you're going to get out of this palette, just a nice brown kind of glamorous look, I guess. It's not super glam. If it had more shimmer, I would say it'd be a little bit more. This was also one of the looks that I dabbled with putting a brown liner on, because the whole look is pretty much brown, but I ended up going with black in the end. And in the picture that I was following, she did wing her liner quite a bit, but I decided not to. So that is going to be it for look number 2. Let's move on to look number 3. All right, you guys, I am back with look number 3. This one used a lot more just matte shades all over the lid and up into my crease and pretty high in my eye. There's only a little bit of one of those shimmer colors. Normally I would put like a shimmer all over the lid, but this look just didn't call for it. It also did call for another wing, and it did call for taping my eye again, which I forgot to do before I came on. Okay, I'm back. My eye is taped now with a little too much tape. I probably could have used like just that much tape, but whatever, we're here now. So the first color we're going to go in for this look is I kind of forget. Okay, so Venetian red once again. So it's like this pinky kind of red color. And I'm just using a sort of small blendy brush. And I basically am taking that, and I think this is really important to start in your outer corner because these shadows are so pigmented that if you want to make sure that you're getting the most pigment exactly where you want it. So I'm not even going in the crease so much as I'm going right above it. So I'm pouncing it all in the corner first. I'm hoping you guys can see that. I'll get a little closer. I've taped too close to my eye and now it's like in my eyelashes. And then I just kind of swept up and over. Back and forth, and you can pick up a bit more product if you want to. And again, starting here, just bring that in. Again, I'm more or less going above my crease, not so much in my crease, just like that. Next, we are going to go in with red ochre, so that's the color right next to it. It's more of a reddish brown color, and I'm picking it up on a slightly smaller fluffy brush. And same kind of thing, but actually in the crease this time, just taking that across. And again, you can go back and forth. I have found that for this particular look, it's easier just to kind of start there and swipe towards the inside. That way you're really laying a lot of the pigment in the outer corner. And I think that that's important for this look to have it be a little bit transition-y, a little lighter here. I can see that I also probably went a little higher with the other eye, but whatever. It is what it is. So just like that. I do have my phone right in front of me too because this look I'm having a little bit more difficulty remembering exactly what I did. So we're going back into that Cypress Umber color. I'm not showing you because you've seen it a couple times, and another small brush. And for this part, again, I'm definitely pouncing in the corner, packing a lot of that color right there. And then I'm going to bring it slightly into my crease. I don't want it to go too far, maybe to about there. And just pack it a little bit on the lid as well. You can do this in kind of a V shape so that it's, you know, a little bit down and then just a little up in the lid. Because at this point, we're going to start making a gradient on the lid itself. So the next color we are going to go into is Love Letter. It's that beautiful, beautiful pink shade. I'm just picking that up on kind of like a flat, denser brush, and I'm going to just kind of push that exactly where I want it. Now, keep in mind at this point, we are adding 2 more colors into the lid. So you don't want to go too far in or you're going to lose this all. But at the same time, you don't want to go, you know, too far out because you're going to lose a lot of that brown. And at this point, because this is a, you know, thin-ish brush, you can get it into the crease if you want to as well. Next color I'm going to go into is probably my favorite in the palette. This is Buon Fresco. It reminds me, like, I have a lot of palettes with colors similar to this and I just love using them. They're beautiful for in the crease, but this one is not calling for that. This one is, we're going slightly more in on the lid. Again, kind of meeting some of that pink, not covering it all, but some of it. And then I just used the same brush and flipped it over and dipped into Tempera again, right? And took that the rest of the way in. Just like that. And then if you feel like you've lost some color in between, it's really easy just to kind of pick it up and start laying down again, just to make sure that you're seeing all the gradient that you want and you're getting, you know, a little bit of those. So like, as important as it is to start from, sorry, I didn't realize that I lost you there, to start from the outside and work in and get a really nice gradient of color, you might have to go back the other way if you put too much of that light color over top. So, ow. At that point, I'm going to peel that off. That was painful. And we're going to take, where did my phone go? In my lap. So you're going to go back into Love Letter a little bit. And that's the color that we're going to smoke out over here. So definitely under the lid and meeting it up above. At this point, once again, you could also take a clean-ish fluffy brush and blend out that line, make it a little less stark if you wanted to, or you can leave that sharp line here because we are going to be winging a liner here. Again, I suck at winging liner, but whatever. Also taking some of that Tempera color and putting that underneath kind of on the inside, almost matching what you did up above. And then this one takes a little bit of that Vermeer color once again. That seems to be the most popular shimmer shade in this palette. It goes with a lot of looks. Popping that in the inner corner and also just a tiny, tiny bit on the brow bone. So I'm gonna go and wing a liner and clean that up, and then I'll be right back. Alrighty, so that is look number 3, I think. The first eye I did definitely turned out much better. Even the wing I'm not completely mad at here. This wing I really struggled with. At first it was super thin and went super far out, so I tried to touch it up and I ended up screwing up, like I've got it all over my hand. I ended up really screwing up that eye. So take this eye as your example eye, but I think it's a really pretty look. I also went with a bit thicker of a line for liner, and that's mainly because I was thinking that with it being all matte and with the colors being very, very high and also transitioning kind of more horizontally as opposed to vertically, you're not losing a lot of lid color. Like sometimes if I've got like a little shimmer and stuff like that, I find that a thick line really just gets rid of it all. But this one I thought was really nice. I'm really into this. So we are going to go ahead to look number 4. All right, you guys, so I am back with look number 4. It's another very, very subtle, very neutral look. This is one that I came up with on my own. Normally this would have been the last look in the video, but the other look that I want to do looks so, so pretty that that's the one that I kind of want to end on, that I want to leave off with. So just knowing like already which looks I had picked out to do, I knew which shades I wasn't going to hit in the palette with those looks, the ones that I was going to get quote unquote stuck with at the end. And actually this time there were only 2 that none of the looks that I had chosen called for. So that was only golden ochre at the top and warm taupe over here. I know we haven't used Primavera yet, but I do think it'll come into play for the last look too. So just with some of those colors I was looking at, I wanted to get a really soft golden kind of look. I think that this would be beautiful for like a date night, or you know, for every day if you're working in an office or something like that. I'm sure you could play this up a little bit more, make it a little bit more dramatic. You could wing a liner, you could add a bit more darkness to it, but I wanted it to just stay really, really light, really, really nice and easy. So the first thing that we are going to do is take that golden ochre color right at the top. I've got a nice big fluffy brush, and I'm just going to sweep that kind of all in the crease, but all high in the crease. So a little in the crease, but then definitely some above. We do want to get some of that golden tone. Now this color on its own, I don't know how big of a fan I am of it, to be honest. It's kind of like a weird sickly brown, but I do think that it blends really nicely into this eye look. Like I just think on its own, it's got like a weird yellow tone to it that I'm not 100% sure of. Also, I wish I knew what my camera was doing. It's giving me a really difficult time. Just give me a second. I think it's just because the lighting in this room is really weird right now. I'm hoping that it is translating properly onto camera for you guys. So then I went in with a just smaller brush, and we're going to dip into that warm taupe color. And that is going to get laid all into the crease, like, and actually into the crease. And it's going to also warm up some of that goldeny yellow. Now you could do this look also with the taped eye effect, but that's not my favorite thing to do. I'm much more comfortable doing more rounded eye looks than more sharp eye looks. It's just a personal preference. We all have our preferences. It's just something like that. Now I also did take some of that golden ochre. I kind of forgot. I have it just on the big brush still, and I did put that under my eye. And then also took some of that warm taupe and put that under as well. Also, these looks would look better if this was like the first look that I had done today, but obviously I've got a lot of darkness in here now because all my concealer and my foundation has worn off, and some of the mascara has smudged. So again, keep in mind these looks would all probably look way, way better if they had been the first one that I did. So I am also going to take, if I can find the brush, here we go, some of that Cypress Umber again, just a little bit of it because I just wanted some darkness in that outer corner. So we're not going to carry this far, just a little into the crease again. Definitely not under the eye because I like what we have already done, but I'm going to take a little bit of that onto just about the inner third of the eye, just give it a little bit of smokiness, a little bit of definition. And then we're going to go into Primavera, which is that gold color. Pick that up on my finger because it's just the easiest thing to do, and we're going to pat that all over the lid, as far out or in as you want, depending on how much of that dark brown you want, but I wanted this to be a very golden look, and into the inner corner. Just like that. Simple as that. Probably the easiest look I've done today. Now you'll notice that for a liner, it's very subtle. I did end up choosing the brown liner, so I'm going to go add that and then I'll come back. Alrighty, so that is the look that we are left with. I think it is really pretty. There's something really, really just classic about a nice, soft, more golden toned eye look. I think it would actually work really, really well for like all eye shades as well. Like I've got, what color are my eyes today? Green eyes, whatever. Gold and green looks beautiful together, especially if you have a green eye that has some gold flecks in it. Same thing with brown eyes and gold flecks. I really think that this would look really pretty for everybody. So that is look number 4. I'm really excited to try look number 5. It was my favorite just looking at it. So fingers crossed for me, guys. Let's hope it turns out as good as the picture did. So you guys, this is going to be look number 5. And as I suspected, it is definitely my favorite look so far. It's definitely got like hints of other looks that I've done. A little bit of the last one, a little bit of that brownie one that we were doing in the beginning. But this one plays with only like the oranges and the browns in the palettes. Like it's not using any of the pinky or the reddy tones. And I'm just really, really into the way that it turned out. So we'll get right into it because this video is already probably long enough. It doesn't need to be any longer. So the first color that we are going to go in with is this tempera color. And I'm just going to take some of that and just put it all under my brow bone. Now again, this is just a subtle highlight. You could bring it down as far as you want. You could bring it all the way across. I'm just kind of doing it in a circular motion up here. Next color we're going to go into is the burnt orange color. So that's this color right here again. So I'm going to just take that and go all in the crease, a little high again, but nothing crazy for this one. And just following the line of my crease to get a nice rounded sort of look. I zoomed you guys out, sorry. Like that. Then I'm going to go in with a slightly sharper brush into that Railgar or Realgar or whatever that orange color is there. We're going to pick some of that up and we're going to take it, this isn't the brush I used now that I'm thinking about it, kind of from the outer crease to the inner crease. Again, not laying it quite as high as that other color, but we do want to see some of it, just like so. Then I'm going to take another brush and go into Cypress Umber, that's that dark brown. And I am going to kind of pull downwards towards my lash line and then also upwards. What I'm trying to do is keep it from going too far out of the lines that I've already created. So I'm pulling more into my lid rather than doing any sort of blending outwards. It's just going to keep that line a little clear, or cleaner, not clearer, and make it so that there's less touching up for me to do. So again, that can go in as much or as little as you want, depending on how much of that darkness you want. You do want to carry it definitely a little up into the crease. You want some of that color peeping through, but not too much, which I just did by accident, but you can always go back over with some of the lighter colors and blend it out a bit. Just like that. We're also going to take some of that color on a pencil brush and oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm going to just show you guys right now what happened. So this is what I mean about that dark color having really bad fallout. Do you guys see how it's all in the orange now? So that's one thing about this palette is the fallout is insane, more so in the palette than on the actual brush itself, as long as you are tapping those brushes off. So we're going to take some of that dark color and smoke it under the lash line, carry it up, meet it to the top lid, just like that. Now we're going to go into that Primavera, that's that gold color. And I'm using my finger for this because I really want it packed on. So just sort of starting, really on the inner corner if you want, you're going to take that color and put it entirely. I think my hair elastic just snapped. Oh, it totally did. Look at that. Sorry about that. I just pulled my hair back into a ponytail. I'm just trying to keep it out of my face right now. So like I said, we were going in with that gold and, you know, from the inside and just layering it up on itself. You can deepen it, brighten it, and just go as far out as you want, leaving a little bit of that brown, but not too much because I want this to be a little softer. I also am really liking this eye more, but that's okay. So now I'm going to go back into that Railgar or Realgar or whatever that color is. So I'm just going to pick up some of that orange, and you're just going to kind of pat it at the seam of the brown and the gold. And what you'll notice is it doesn't come out so much orange as it does just kind of like lighten up that gold. And again, this is a big back and forth thing. Any mistakes you feel like you're making, if you feel like you've got too much gold, add more of the orange. If you feel like you've got too much of the orange, add more of the gold. And take a little bit and just pop that in the inner corner as well, just to make sure we've got a nice pop. Gonna go put on some mascara, some liner, and come back and wrap this up. Alrighty, so we are back with the final look. This is how this one turned out. This one is for sure my favorite of all of them. So how did we do? I think we came up with 5 really, really beautiful wearable looks, although just because of the shade range in this palette, I'm not too sure that there's any that are super unwearable. Like definitely not as much as the Jeffree Star one where you just got some crazy, crazy bright colors. This one is definitely my favorite, and I am definitely, at least from my eye shape, more partial to the rounded off looks rather than the ones with the sharp line. This was another look that I easily could have gotten away with a brown liner as well, but I liked the black. It was a little bit more dramatic. So how do I feel this one? I'm really happy that I did decide to use this palette for this video because, to be honest, I feel like I got it a while ago, like years ago when it first came out, and I used it then in a video for you guys, and I think I used it a couple times since, but like I've really been neglectful of it. I've forgotten all about it. I keep it through declutters because I know how great it is. I know how beautiful it is, and I know that everybody loves, or most people love it. I guess everybody is a very generic statement, but there's not very many people that don't really like this palette, and I just totally forgot about it. And you know, doing this is definitely going to, I'm definitely going to be repeating this look many, many more times. I think it's absolutely gorgeous, stunning, really, really pretty. One thing I will say is the formula of these shadows is very, very soft. You guys saw it all throughout the video. There is a ton of kickback definitely on the palette. It's not as bad on your face. The first look I did was really bad because I hadn't realized it yet, but as long as you're really tapping off that brush, the shadows are so pigmented that doing that, you're not going to lose the pigmentation. You're still going to get a lot, but you're going to avoid getting all of that fallout that you might see. So for a 14 pan palette, I think we did really, really good with the 5 looks, and I am really happy with how this turned out. So if you guys know of another palette that I have that you really, really want to see me do this whole multi, like one palette, multiple looks with, I'm pretty much gonna do 5 every time unless like it's a really small palette, in which case we might end up with just 3. I've got something in my eye. I couldn't really figure out what it was, but I did notice that the darkness here is way more than the darkness here. So in the future, it's one thing I will say is that when you do one eye and then go back and do the other eye, it is very hard to make them even because you kind of forget how much you did and you just start going, and then you look at the other eye and you're like, whoopsies. Anyway, so if you guys know of another palette that I have that you're itching to see me use in one of these videos, let me know. If not, I'm just gonna kind of keep going through my collection as I see fit. I would just pull one to the front of the lineup if you guys really wanted to see one. But at this point, my next plan is to do one of my 3 Huda Beauty palettes, like one of the bigger ones. So either this one, the new Nudes, or my Desert Dusk, or my Mercury Retrograde. I want to do something with those because I feel like, again, I have these palettes, I love these palettes, but they just get kind of like pushed aside in my collection. So comment down below which look was your favorite. Have you kind of forgotten about this palette? If you don't have it, are you going to buy it now? Just seeing how it can get used. I love hearing from you guys. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye.